All right. So typically, I begin these sessions by asking, is there anything you'd like to say before we begin?
Hmm.
So, is there?
Okay. Well, I'm Japanese, and English isn't my native language, so like there may be some like I don't know difficulty answering some of your questions, like if I don't know like terms. So like I don't know. It would be nice if you could explain like those terms. Like,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. All right. So, the next question is sort of a pre-question: is how familiar are you with my typing sessions in the past? Have you watched many typing session videos before? Because that's going to influence whether I have to try to make new questions or not.
Yeah. Well, I have watched like several of your like typing sessions before, so like I know your questions.
Okay, cool. Um, so then I'm going to begin with the typical SI question that I start with, which is asking you to demonstrate a recounting of minor events from the last couple hours of your life. Do you want me to demonstrate it first, or do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, but like I just woke up like 1 hour ago, so like should I talk about last night or something or
No, the last
like
hour is fine. Just be very detailed, like
okay.
in articulating what you did.
hmm So I woke up at like 3:25 a.m. Yeah, and then I like went to pee and brushed my teeth, washed my face and came back to my room and talked to my girlfriend on the phone for a little. And I talked about like, today's typing session and stuff. And I was just kind of discussing like whether I should wear like socks or something. And like,
Okay, cool, cool.
yeah.
Uh, okay, so I have a question that's actually, to be honest, unrelated to typing. Do you sleep right on the ground on something, or do you sleep elevated up off of the floor?
Oh, well, I sleep on bed, so I guess,
You
yeah,
sleep on the regular bed?
yeah.
Okay. Because, in Japanese cartoons, they're always sleeping on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Um, okay, so if I were to ask you which was a better day last week, Tuesday or
Mhm.
Wednesday, would you be able to tell me? Do you remember the distinct or this week? Let's say earlier this week. Today for me is Friday, so
Mhm.
Tuesday or Wednesday is like 3 or 4 days ago. Do you
Okay.
remember which one was better for you and why?
Okay, let me think. Well, mm, Monday. Mm, Probably like yesterday, or not yesterday, before yesterday, since like I finished like writing a thesis on MBTI or something. Like, I go to an online school where I can like basically study like whatever I want, and like I've been studying like MBTI through your channel and like others channels too, and I kind of wrote like what I learned, about MBTI, and like I just finished a thesis yesterday, so
I
I
see.
think yeah,
Okay,
it's
um, that's interesting. So, do you have a clear understanding of long-term goal for yourself that you're trying to reach, or are you uncertain about that?
Well, I used to have like a long-term goal, like which was to just like go to America and like study and basically live in the country too. But now, I don't really have like a long-term goal. Like I know what I want in my life. Like I don't know, I just want to have like basically happy ending, I guess, like in my life, like with family and like I don't know people I love and stuff. But I don't have like a really clear goal. Like I'm not usually very like attuned to reality, I guess. Like
Okay.
so. Mhm.
Um, does your family have a vision for what they'd like you to do or be?
No, like not at all. Like they respect my freedom or something, so they don't.
Okay. Um, so, okay. What traits of your girlfriend do you find that she provides that are most like gratifying to you, and what aspects of her are like where she tries to provide help that you say, I don't want you to help me here.
Okay. Well, um, she's really good with like emotional support. So like, I like that about her. Like, yeah, that she emotionally supports me, and Mm, oh yeah, that's like what I appreciate basically. And therefore, yeah, things I don't like, I don't know, I don't like that she does for me is like, well, mm, mm,
Okay, well, hypothetically, would you
mhm,
prefer that she, um, say, generate more ideas in circumstances or try to win arguments in circumstances, or would you prefer that she try to smooth things over?
mm. I guess I yeah, rather have her like smooth things over than like make new ideas and stuff and make arguments.
Okay. Um, would you rather have her express concern for whether something's kind or express concern for whether something makes sense logically?
Like, can you give me an example?
Okay, so you go to a party, and after the party, you walk out of the party, and there's two possibilities. She says, "That guy over there, Sasuke, he was very he was very unkind to that
Mm-hmm.
girl," or "That guy over there, uh, Tom, he was making very illogical justifications for his political positions and was pissing me off."
Mm-hmm.
Which would you rather she say after the party, and which are you more likely to say after the party?
Honestly, like both, but like I mean, she would likely say like I mean the latter, but I mean, I don't know. I don't mind like hearing both. Like I don't really have a preference for it, I guess. But I mean, I don't really like to discuss like political views personally. I mean, I'm not really into politics, so like I
Okay.
guess no. Like if it was something like more specific, like I don't know, like other kinds of things, I guess, like that I'm into, like MBTI or like I don't know, like his other views and logic or something, then maybe I would like to hear about it.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
what if you're at a party and somebody comes up and they start preaching the virtues of voltology to you? That you can type somebody entirely by looking at physical cues. What do you think about that idea?
Wait, like, can you explain? Like, so I can get
So
it.
voltology is a typology idea that says that how you move your eyes or how
Mhm.
your involuntary facial expressions, like how you just looked up right there, that cues us as to what type somebody is, their habits
Mhm.
of that. What do you think about that notion?
Well, I actually have been typed by like someone that uses that, photology, but I mean, I wasn't fully convinced by it since like, I mean, first of all, I mean, like, I didn't relate to the type at all, but like, also, um, yeah, I guess it lacks logic, I guess. It's probably like TI thing to say, I don't know, but,
Yeah.
mm,
Okay,
yeah.
so let's do a couple TI questions and see how we do on those.
Mhm.
Uh, if all bananas taste good and everything that tastes good is a hamburger, are all bananas hamburgers?
No.
Okay. Um, if uh, if all birds tweet and that animal is tweeting, can I conclude that that animal is a bird?
No.
Okay. If only Egyptians make pyramids and I have made a pyramid, can you conclude that I'm Egyptian?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, let's see. What's a more important value to you, authenticity or uh, justice?
Mm, mm, like justice for myself or something? Like,
Well, let's say a rule is applied fairly across the board, but one person that it gets in trouble had some extenuating circumstances that really made it like they shouldn't get in trouble the same. But technically, according to the fair application of the rule, everybody gets the same punishment. What's more important, that things be more precisely articulated to the particular situation, or that they be more broadly fair, assuming you can't have both?
mm, Wait, so things should be articulated, or what is it?
Okay, well, like, you, let's say I suggested a system of justice in which
Mm-hmm.
all stakeholders, that's to say, everybody who had some share in a situation, be it a
Mm-hmm.
crime victim or a criminal or the families or whatever, gets
Mm-hmm.
together and they all reach an agreement about what an appropriate punishment is. Well,
Mm-hmm.
let's say that even worked, that they could all reach an agreement. Some
Mm-hmm.
communities might punish shoplifting with um, a day's community service. Some communities might publish shoplifting by chopping off a hand.
Mm-hmm.
And then you might say that it's just because, in every instance, because it applies, because everybody's in agreement. But of course, it's not just from the perspective of the shoplifter, in the sense that, on the one hand, shoplifting gets you a light punishment, and on the other hand, it gets you a very serious punishment. But by justice standards, punishment should fit the crime. So, what's more important?
Yes, justice.
Okay. Um. So, if if you have a choice, being being very socially successful in a circumstance, let's say getting up on stage and performing and getting lots of cheers or something,
Mm-hmm.
and the alternative is to make a work of art or something that's very true to yourself and very true to what you envision, but that is concurrently um, not very popular.
Mm-hmm.
Which would you prefer to attain?
I guess definitely like the latter, since like I don't really care about like social status or like being admired by other people. I'd rather be myself and like express my true self and stuff. So, mhm.
Okay. Um, how much do well, if you're talking about let's talk about expressing yourself. So, what medium, if any, do you think you express yourself best in?
Mm, huh. Just how I behave or something. Like
No, I'm
I mean,
saying, like, do you feel like you best express your authentic self through writing, say, a poem, or perhaps through painting a picture, or drawing a picture, or maybe through dancing, or through, like, how would you best express your true emotions? Let's say.
mm, by maybe either like talking or like writing essays or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, let's say I were to say assign you a task of creating a work of art that best expressed your true self. Which
Mm-hmm.
medium would you do it in? Would you draw a picture? Would you write a poem? Would you make a song? Would you do a dance?
Mm. I guess I write a poem or like yeah, write something. I'd say.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um. All right. Let's talk about solving problems a bit. So, uh, let's say you've got two possible assignments. One is to fix a broken doorknob, and the other is to go through and edit somebody's essay and fix all the errors. Um, and let's say that uh, they're set up so that each would take an expert the equivalent amount of time, and each would take an amateur the equivalent amount of time to complete. So, which one do you think you would prefer to do? Which one do you think you'd be faster at doing? Which one do you think you'd be
Mm-hmm.
better at doing?
Wait, so the first one was like fixing a doormat?
A doorknob. A doorknob.
Oh yeah, don't know about
The
all right.
knob. You
Um
have to replace the doorknob.
mhm. I think I'll pick essay since like I mean I have no idea like what to deal with like all those like physical stuff. I don't know, like the doorknob and like I mean yeah, I don't like working with like tools and so yeah, I prefer revising an essay maybe.
Okay. Do you think truth is discovered or created?
Hmm. It's creative.
Okay. Um, and what truth do you think you're? Do you believe yourself to be creating a truth as you move through life, or are you creating a story about yourself, or are you not fundamentally creating, or something else?
So there are three options, and right, there are three options, right?
Yeah, well, I was saying you're either are you creating a truth, are you creating a
Hmm.
self, are you
Hmm.
not engaging in an ongoing creative process, or something else?
I'll choose the second one. Like, I don't know, I'm just like creating myself since I mean, I'm not really concerned with like the truth. Like, I think that like I don't know, people should just like get like what they want out of their lives, and like so yeah, I pick the second one.
O-
Mhm.
Okay. How well do you handle discomfort? For example, not getting enough sleep, not having enough to eat, or being hot for a long period of time or cold for a long period of time. How well do you handle that?
Mm. I mean, I guess I would like something warmer or like sleep more. Yeah, just
I mean, does
like,
it affect your mood a lot? Are you somebody who can put up with a fair amount of discomfort, soldier on, and uh, and be successful, or do you need to take a break because you just can't handle this discomfort anymore?
hmm, I'm not really sure, but like maybe latter. Hmm.
Okay, which statement do you more identify with? Uh, Talk is cheap, action is what matters, or um, you have to be you have to be responsible for your words because words are what is really important.
Definitely the first one. Like actions matter more. Words, it could be deceiving and just lies or something. So, mhm.
Okay. Um, okay. So let's see. Do you feel as though okay? What do you think you have the clearest bit? If you were to articulate something about which you have the clearest vision versus other things in life, in your own life, like for example, I have much more clear vision about what comprises a good song than I do about what comprises a good architectural blueprint. So, what do you think your vision is clearest about?
Like songs or architecture or something. Yeah.
No, I'm saying, I gave it as an example, two
Hmm.
possible things that one could have a vision about. You know, one could have a a clear opinion about, right? You could have a clear
Hmm.
opinion about politics. You could have a clear opinion about what song's good. You could have a clear opinion about what dance is a cool dance step. You could have a clear opinion about which animal is more likely to win a fight. You could have a clear opinion about lots of different possible things. What do you think you? What kind of thing do you have a clear opinion about in life?
Okay. Um. mm, um. I just accept like all possibilities. So like I wouldn't mind like people disagreeing with me, but I mean, I guess regarding like equality or something, I'm pretty like I mean I know like what I think is right or something. Or I don't know, like way to achieve things maybe. Like I don't know, especially like English. I mean, I know I'm not like perfect at speaking English, but like compared to other Japanese people,
You're
like
pretty
I'm
damn
fairly
good. You're pretty damn good at it.
yeah. So I mean, like I don't know. I like to kind of tell other people like how to achieve like this fluency, but I don't force people though. Like I mean, I don't think it's good. Like people can just do whatever they want. So mhm.
Okay. Now, I want to test your extroverted intuition here, and to a certain
Mhm.
extent, this may be one of those things that's influenced by the fact that English is a second language for you.
Okay.
But I'm going to give you the first couple lines of a poem, and I want to see if you can
Mhm.
give me the next couple lines of a poem that rhymes. Okay, so
Mhm.
for example, first I'll give you a full poem. So if I were to give you the opening lines that say, I wish I had another apple tree from which
Mhm.
I could then pick a lovely fruit. Instead, I've got this uh, crap you see, which makes me want to chew upon a boot. Okay. So I
Mhm.
provided the second two lines that rhyme with the first two lines. Okay. So here's your first two lines.
Mm-hmm.
There, there was a tiny mouse who lived in town.
Mm-hmm.
He once befriended him a mean old goat. So there was a little mouse who lived in town who once
Mm-hmm.
befriended him a mean old goat.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um. Mm, mm, it's hard for me to like find what rhymes with that.
Okay, let me ask you a different kind of question. So I'm going to give you
Okay.
an. I've come up with a new invention. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's half cigarette, but it's got attached
Mm-hmm.
to it a telescope, so you can smoke and look through a telescope at the same time. Okay,
Okay.
but I can't think of any good names for it. All I can think of is cigarette with telescope attached to it. Can you help me
Mm-hmm.
come up with some good product names to help me really sell it in the marketplace?
Okay. Um. Well, like cigarette scope or something, or mm, mm, I guess it's like hard to find like a like a fun names, but I mean I could come up with like yeah several names. Like I don't know, like it doesn't make sense, but like I don't know, like a telemagic, like I don't know, cigarette or something, or like mm, cigarette, huh? Mm, telescope cigarette.
Okay, you can call it this the see and scope. You could call it the smoke and see,
Hmm.
the puff and peer.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't think I have a feeling that you
Hmm.
are. I have a pretty good sense of what type you are at this point, but
Hmm.
I have a feeling it's not the type you want to be. So,
Okay.
because I'm pretty convinced you're an ISFP, and you came in saying you were typed by somebody else and you didn't identify with that type. Now, that
Hmm.
typically tells me that because people think ISFP is kind of an unsexy type, and they
Hmm.
don't typically want to be that. But you tell me what you think you are now at this point, or what you thought what they typed you before, and what you think about that particular typing.
Okay. So I got typed by like three people now, and well, the first person, like actually, he typed me as ISFP2, and then I got typed by casual cognition, and like like she uses like votology, I guess, and like she typed me as ESTJ, and I mean I didn't really relate to that, and well, I got typed by Spacey2 recently, and he typed me as ISTJ, and well, I guess I was like fairly convinced by his typing, but I don't know. I just wanted to kind of confirm it with you, and I mean, I got a different type, so.
Okay, well, ISTJ is possible. Let me just say that right now. You're talking
Hmm.
about and here's why. I'm saying I think you're polar extroverted intuition, which is seventh slot. The other
Hmm.
possible slot it could be would be fourth slot. And I'm saying I
Hmm.
think your dominant FI. The other possible slot it could be is third slot. I think your
Okay.
fourth slot TE though. I don't think your second slot TE. You're not
Hmm.
demonstrating to me any any examples of somebody who feels really confident about their extroverted thinking. So
Hmm.
it's like I don't think ISTJ is a bad mistyping, but
Hmm.
I do believe you're actually an ISFP.
Okay.
And the reason is because I mean, I've typed a lot of ISFPs. You share this common kind of terseness. You don't have very expansive answers. You typically,
Hmm.
like when I ask you the talk is cheap, talk versus action question, that's an
Hmm.
ISFP versus INFP distinguishing question. INFPs
Okay.
think that action is too forceful in general and
Hmm.
interferes with uh, their business somehow. You know, it's like because they're extroverted intuitors in the second slot.
Hmm.
So, but let me think of how I can better make sure and double check that you're not an ISTJ. Uh,
Okay.
so, talk to me a little bit about your perspective on extroverted feeling. Um,
All right. Well, I might be wrong about the function. I mean, I'm not like an MBTI expert, so like, I mean, I might be confused with like some other functions, but I mean, I personally feel like extroverted feeling is kind of like pointless. I'm not sure. Like, well, like, I mean, it is good, and like, I don't know, like, I think yeah, find myself do get kind of upset at people, like, if they're too mean to me, I guess. But I mean, at the same time, I mean, I feel like if everyone was like honest in the first place, and you just be honest to their feelings, then like there wouldn't be any problems. Like, yeah, and like there wouldn't be any lies, and it's much easier if like extroverted feeling didn't exist. But I know, I mean, I know like why it's necessary. Like it's probably to like unite people, or like to just make sure that everyone's okay and stuff. So, I mean,
Okay,
yeah, I know
well,
it's
well, let me
necessary.
ask you this: how do you
Mhm.
feel like people often perceive you as awkward?
Um. Well, my girlfriend said I mean I do act awkwardly, but personally, well, I think it depends on like situations. If I'm prepared for a situation, then like I wouldn't probably act like that awkwardly. And like I don't know, I just like to prepare for situations beforehand. Like I'm wearing like a formal dress and stuff, and yeah. So, huh.
Would you say that by and large people like you in general, that you don't get a lot of dislike from people?
Hmm. Just people don't dislike me, but I mean, I don't have any like friends actually. I mean, I have friends from my old school, but like I only have like a two or something, and I mean, I'm not generally like a friendly person, and I mean, I would be friendly if someone talked to me, but I don't know. Yeah, just I don't try to make friends from myself, I guess. So it's difficult since I have like a niche interest too. Anyways, like no one talks about MBTI in Japan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you find more gratifying in general?
Mhm.
Feeling the. This is a tough question because okay, so uh, hmm, uh, well, I guess I would say that your TI seems more eighth slot than sixth, but it's hard to tell the difference between as well. Okay,
Mhm.
so if you're an ISTJ, you're an SI Dom, and
Mhm.
you are SE valuing as an absolute value for the external world. So you
Mhm.
did demonstrate some very good SI when I did the SI test, but that's not necessarily inconsistent with demonstrative six slot SI
Mhm.
by the ISFP. So um, how much do you think like how much attention do you give to your food consumption, your beverage consumption, and your sleep? When I asked you that question before, you just sort of said, "Well, if I need more sleep, I get more sleep. If I'm hungry, I eat," or something like that, right? So, is it something you more ignore, or something that you frame everything around? Because SI DOMs tend to have an extended understanding of the world about one day. They understand what's happening today and tomorrow, maybe, and that's about it. They don't look
Mhm.
that far ahead. Um, so, what's your relationship with SI in that regard?
Okay, so I guess recently I've been like just eating the same thing every day. Like it's to like build muscles actually. I mean like I don't know, like I watch YouTube and like I don't know. I just kind of learn like what to eat and I know like there are lots of like menus for like I guess anabolic like food or something, but like I've been just eating the same things. It's kind of like I don't know, tiring to make like different things every day. And for sleep, like I like haven't had good sleep recently, like because I was like so like I mean I guess I was like researching about my type so much, but like usually I mean I try to have like maybe like at least like a 7 or 8 hours of sleep or something. Like 9 hours ideal though. Hmm.
Hmm. This is you're a tricky one indeed. Those are kind of ISTJ-ish answers. Um,
Mm.
so you're kind of I'm getting a mix of two kinds of answers from you in general here:
Mhm.
ISFP style answers and ISTJ. The thing is this.
Mhm.
Here's why I still think you're an ISFP. Typically, ISTJs, when given the opportunity to ideate and encouraged to do so, will come up with some stuff and will tend to find it satisfying.
Mhm.
So Well, let me say this. Pretend I'm a friend who's interested in typology, but I haven't really heard anything about it yet, and I'm asking you to tell me about it. Tell me about typology.
Okay. Well then, I mean, I could be wrong again, but okay. So I don't know, like it's different from Big Five in a way that like I don't know, it doesn't like measure your skills, but like I don't know, it measures your I mean cognition instead, like how you operate. Like I don't know, it's like attentional manners, I guess as you say. But yeah, and then like it doesn't your type like doesn't change, but yeah, I mean you grow as you grow as a person, you develop like your other functions and stuff, and I mean your traits can change. So I don't know, like it might not be scientific, but I mean it's still very useful, and um I don't know, like I personally like it since um I
Okay.
mean I always use like personality type and I mean test or something, so but,
Okay. Uh, do you have uh, hmm. So, what sort of work do you think you're going to end up doing?
mm, I don't want to work in like I don't know office or like do a typical office work. Like it's just like kind of boring to me, and like well like I'm not really good with like a detailed stuff and like doing documents or something. I guess well realistically speaking, maybe English teacher, since like I'm kind of good at using English, and like if I like perfect it, like I could be a teacher in Japan. But I guess another option would be like, yeah, I guess I would most likely to like teach English, but also do something else like that I like. I guess like my passion, like maybe MBTI practitioner or whatever, or like maybe some other hobbies I personally like. Mhm.
Okay. Do you like any kinds of physical activities?
I mean, I do work out, but I think that's mostly to, build muscles and like it's not really for fun. Well, although I do find it fun, but I mean, I would stop it like if that doesn't like does anything to my body or anything. And well,
Okay, so why do you
mm,
want to have muscles?
oh, I guess like there are some like there are many reasons, not many, I mean like several maybe, but I guess first I just feel more confident if I'm like big. Like well, like I don't know, I just like don't like not having power, I guess. Like, I mean, I don't care. Like, I don't want to dominate other people, but like, still, like, I just want to feel kind of confident, secure, or something. And well, other reason would be like just because it looks cool. I don't know. Just it's good to feel like. Mm, I guess like it's also good to feel like a different from other people, I guess. Like I don't know, I put in work and I did it. Like I don't know, I look different from you guys. So I mean I'm not saying I'm better or anything, but like yeah, just like it's good to show off like what I
Mm-hmm.
did and
Okay,
stuff.
cool.
Mhm.
Um, so that sounds more SE tool function than SE
Mhm.
ignoring to me. And it
Okay.
sounds more FE ignoring than FE polar as well. So
Mhm.
I I think that ISFP is the right typing for you. But I
Okay.
I will say that if you aren't ISFP, then you'd be ISTJ. But I just don't see it. Okay,
Mhm.
from your own understanding, you've studied some typology stuff. What's
Yeah.
if you were going to make the argument for yourself being ISFP versus yourself being ISTJ? What arguments would you make?
Okay. So am I supposed to like argue for me being an ISTJ or ISFP?
First ISFP, then ISTJ. So try
Okay.
to argue both sides.
I guess so ISFP first. Well, Mm, SITE people would typically be more, I guess, punctual, like, well, good with like authority, dealing with like authority, or, um, yeah, just I don't know, good at like following instructions and stuff, like without questioning things, maybe because they're like TE user and like stuff. So, and also, I mean, high TE and well, mm, oh wait, arguing for ISTJ right now or
Well, right
ISF?
now you're arguing for ISFP, and you're basically arguing against ISTJ.
Okay.
Is how you're arguing it. So
Mhm. Okay. Well then, I guess, and also, mm, I, yeah, to be an ISTJ, I might know like what I want too much, or I prioritize like I don't know my feelings too much, maybe. Like, yeah, I don't know. I find it hard to like do tasks that like I don't really value personally. So, that is also like indicative that I'm not an ISTJ, maybe. And well, mm, um, FE polar. I mean, I don't think I'm very good with FE. I mean, I'm definitely like a rejecting anti-FE kind of person, but um, I guess because I still tend to know what others perceive me, kind of like I just kind of ignore it, like just like fifth salt FI maybe. So I think that would, yeah, make me more likely an ISFJ. Okay, so that's
ISFP. Okay, so if you were going to say you were an ISTJ, how would you think that you'd have what arguments would you have for that side?
Oh, wait, sorry, what did you say?
So if you were to argue that you're an ISTJ, what arguments would you have for that side?
Okay. Well then, I guess this is kind of a stereotypical, but like, I mean, to be an ISFP, I am too, well, cold. I'm not sure. Like, I mean, like when I was younger, I mean, not younger, like maybe a few years ago or something, like, when I wanted to go to America or something like that, like yeah, I kind of basically forced my family to like speak in English for me and like not speak to me in Japanese, and like I don't know, I'm not proud of myself for doing it. Like I don't know, I think I've grown and like I felt ashamed of it now, but like I was kind of like being a dictator-ish and like just telling them like to speak in English and like I don't know, shouting and stuff, and like yeah, so I don't know, like ISFP, like as an FI dom, they might be more concerned with like how others, I don't know, like although it's not like FE, like it's not emotional impact maybe, but like I don't know, they're still going to feel like that they're doing something bad or like that it's doing something maybe more or something. So that's like maybe an indicative of like a high TE and low FI or something. I'm not sure. And that it even makes sense that I'm an ISTJ because like I'm like teenager, like a late teen now, and um yeah, like I don't know, my like auxiliary function, tertiary functions like might have developed like around this age, like 16 or something. And well.
Okay, so it's interesting. In the first instance, when I asked you uh, to argue why you're ISFP, you
Mhm,
gave me kind of general intuition style reasons, which is
mhm,
to say, like, well, an ISTJ would be more detail oriented, stuff like that, right?
mhm,
When I asked you why you might be an ISTJ, you gave me an SI reason. You gave me a specific anecdote from your past that would be more consistent, you think, with an ISTJ than an ISFP. What's
mhm.
interesting is that ISTJs typically do that. They do a lot of that. They do a lot of that, giving examples as to why they're X type or that type. It's actually an anecdote,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Whereas ISFPs are much more likely to answer the way you answered when trying to prove you're an ISFP. So what I would
Mhm,
argue here is that that's indication that you're an ISFP because you're when your SE sort of NI approach answers
mhm.
didn't seem to gratify, or you couldn't come up with those for why you're an ISTJ, so you came up with demonstrative SI in the sixth slot, because
Mhm.
demonstrative function comes out when the world demands of you something beyond what you naturally want to provide. And
Okay.
so I would say that the way you answer those questions is consistent with ISFP.
Hmm. That makes sense. Um, yeah. So, like, how to explain like polar any, I guess, for me? Is it simply like a lack of imagination or like, I don't know, like closed-mindedness or?
It's okay, so it's best to think of it in terms of positive space and negative space. extroverted intuition is the brute force way of getting to figure out what the apple is. Like, oh, this is a picture of an apple. Extroverted intuition fills in all the space around the apple with all the different possibilities, and then finally goes, oh, I see, it's an apple.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas introverted intuition just sees the apple right away. So,
Mm-hmm.
extroverted intuition it sort of works off of introverted intuition. Introverted intuition says, here's the simple truth or the singular truth. Extroverted intuition goes, oh, yeah, well, here's some other possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, for an ISFP, they've got introverted intuition in the third slot. That's their most like demonstrated absolute value for themselves. So,
Mm-hmm.
for example, for me, that's the getting on stage and everybody clap for me, right? That's FE third slot.
Mm-hmm.
NI third slot says I like to always see the apple and never have to go the see the negative space. So when I ask you, well, what's a good name for my cigarette telescope thing?
Mm-hmm.
You come up pretty not too much of a challenge with one solid name you think is a good name for it,
Mm-hmm.
and then you struggle to come up with additional ones because you've already seen the apple, and I'm asking you
Mm-hmm.
then to look into the negative space around the apple.
Okay.
So that's what it means to have polar extrovert intuition is to always be understanding what something is rather than what it's not.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I tend to like I don't know ask like my family or like I don't know my girlfriend too like well like why a lot I guess like I don't know like why does it happen or like why do you feel that way like why is this name like that and stuff like I thought it was like extroverted intuition and possibly like even like NETI or something or TINE like trying to figure out stuff like
It's
and
it's
like
being a deliberation type. So both FI and TI ask the question why, and
mm-hmm,
TE asks the question how, as does FE basically. So asking why means you're a deliberative type. You want to figure out what's the best thing, what the good is, and depending on for that can either be expressed as truth or kindness, compassion, or various other things. But you want to be able to
mm-hmm,
determine what the good is as opposed to what's not the good by yourself. Ultimately, you don't want to
mm-hmm,
rely on other people's opinions about that. Now, what validates the way you validate that and the way I validate that are two different calculi. You do it primarily through an interested calculus, which means you understand how you feel about it. Ultimately, you have
mm-hmm,
to spend some time with it. Once you understand how you feel about it, then you have determined its status. For
mm-hmm,
me, I check the words that people say and say, okay, these words are adequate, they make sense, they don't contradict with other things. And if they
mm-hmm.
do, then I say, then that's not logical. And if they don't, then I say, that is logical and that's fine. So, but we're both doing the same thing ultimately. We're asking the question, why? Why should I believe that? Why should I think that? Why should I feel this? Why are you acting like that? Why are blah, blah, blah,
Mm-hmm.
blah? Because we want to
Okay.
determine statuses. It's our core nature, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. All right. So is it natural for like ISFPs to get kind of not annoyed exactly, but like I don't know, be skeptical about like a really like NI stuff? I guess like overly NI stuff. Like I don't know, like oh yeah. So for example, like my girlfriend like told me about like a global warming and like how the world could end in like next 30 years or something, and like I don't know, like. I mean, I am concerned about the world and like my life and like her life and my family's, but like I just kind of thought like, well, whatever. Like I don't know. Like I'm just like happy right now, and
Well, yeah, you
mm,
don't want anybody else's NI. That's the thing about third slot is it's selfish.
mhm,
So it's like I want to be the one getting applause. I don't want to be the one
mhm.
applauding, right? You want to be the one knowing what's singularly important. You don't want other people telling you what's singularly important.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
And it's our most selfish function, but we can be quite good at it at the same time. So it's like
Hmm.
as we age, our third slot function typically improves too. My
Hmm.
FE was a lot worse when I was younger until I got smacked down enough by people going like you're too much. You need to chill
Hmm.
out. You're too extroverted. You're talking too much. Stuff like that. Then I chilled out a bit, and my FE got better.
Okay. Mm. So what about like asking what if questions or something like hypothetical questions? I mean, I do that a lot too with my family, especially like I don't know what would you do in this situation? Like I don't know, like
Well, it's interesting how you may ask a lot of what if questions, but when I ask
Mhm.
you what if questions, you typically want an example. You want me to concretize it. So if I say, what do you
Yeah.
prioritize, justice or truth? You'll say, well, I mean,
Mhm.
this is true of most people, though, so it's not particularly indicative of anything. Most people will ask for examples for most of those questions.
Mhm.
So what kind of what if questions do you ask? Can you give me some examples?
Okay. Well, like I just see it tends to be like some kind of choice question, I suppose. Like, which would you prefer? Like, well, killing all dogs in the world except for like your dog, or like I don't know, like keep.
Or
I
killing
guess,
your dog but leaving the rest of them alive?
yeah,
That's those are fun values questions because they ultimately ask you. They're saying, what do you prefer? Do you prefer your interested calculus? I love my dog, or your
hmm
disinterested justice calculus? Everybody
yeah,
else loves their dog too.
hmm
So it makes sense that you'd like to ask those kind of questions. So they're textbook deliberation style questions that we need
yeah,
to make a determination about a status regarding something. But especially
hmm
that one is a great FI deliberation question.
hmm
In fact, it's one I should include those kind of questions in my typing to people. I'd be interested to see how would you answer that. Which would you do?
Okay. I probably kill like all the other dogs and like save mine. Yeah, that's what I would
What if
do.
everybody knew you did that though? If you could do it in secret, that's one thing. What if you had to be public about it? That you publicly make the decision that I'm going to kill everybody else's dog and save mine?
I could try to like lie or like I don't know that I had to or something or like I was forced to do it with someone else.
I
Like,
had no choice. It was that or the world ends.
yeah.
Okay, so well, that's interesting.
Mhm.
It's sort of an embrace of your introverted feeling to
Mhm.
say that. Most people would say, "But that's awful."
Yeah.
Um, what other? Can you give me another example of a what if question you'd ask? Like, what would you do if you
Okay.
won $1 million or something? What would you do if you won $1 million?
Um, like I don't know. Like I don't tend to know like the value of money. Like not literally. Like I mean, I still keep money, but like yeah, like I don't know like how much $1 million is. Like even in Japanese, like when I'm asked like okay, like a certain like price or something, I'm like, is it cheap or expensive? But okay, $1 million, then
It's like you could
I'm
buy
not sure what I
a
can.
nice house in America for $1 million. About
Okay, then I would like probably buy some like props from like some my favorite shows or something, um or buy new pets or
What are your favorite shows? Do I know any of them? Have I seen any of your favorite shows? Like, what's your favorite anime?
okay, my favorite anime is Death Note. Yeah, you probably watched it,
I
right?
haven't
Like,
seen Death Note yet. I haven't seen that one. I've
oh,
seen quite
okay.
a few of them, but I've seen Naruto, Blue Exorcist, Attack on Titan,
Mm-hmm.
um, My Hero Academy, Hunter
Mm-hmm.
versus Hunter. There may be one more. There's two more I'm forgetting, but
Okay.
those are the ones I remember. What else?
Avatar, but that's not
Oh,
an
that's
anime.
not Japanese.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
those are the ones I've seen
Yeah,
that
you've seen a
I
lot.
can recall.
Well, I haven't watched
Death
them,
Note is
but like
next.
I did watch some like American shows too. So I watched Once Upon a Time from ABC, and I watched Rick and Morty, and well, what else? Um, huh.
Did you ever watch
I watched.
BoJack Horseman?
Oh wait, what did it say?
You ever watch BoJack Horseman?
I tried like one episode, but like I stopped it there. Mhm.
Mm-hmm. You might want to give it more of a chance. It's pretty damn good, I gotta tell
Okay.
you. Okay, well that's interesting.
Mhm.
So, uh, yeah, I mean, I still think, and I'm increasingly convinced that I think you're an ISFP. Rachel, you've been listening to this? Oh no, you haven't. Okay,
Me.
because I know that you've got your.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Sometimes I can't tell if she's Bluetoothing into here or over there or whatever. So she doesn't have any input then. But
Right.
yeah, I'm about 95% sure you're an ISFP.
Okay.
Um, we've got about 10 minutes left. What other things or questions you might have or direction you'd like me to explain
Uh,
something or anything like that?
okay. Like, is there any way to like study like your entire theory? Like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to like find like a I don't know, tutorial videos from
Did,
you, like,
did I?
since,
Do you have a copy of Exciting Tables and Words About Human Personality? I'll get you a copy right now.
okay.
There's this. It's what it. This is not really a book. It's a compilation of different documents and tables that I've used in making various videos. So it's got a good table of contents in it. You can look in the table of contents and you'll see that if you have a specific kind of subtopic you want to look at, it'll you'll be able to find in the table of contents probably.
Okay.
And here's the link to it right here. Chat. I'll put it in this chat here. Paste and yeah. So that's one thing you can look at that's pretty good. It's a little bit old. I guess evolved in some of my thinking about some stuff since then, but most of it doesn't make. I don't think I make too many claims I would retract in that book. So.
Okay.
Anything else?
Oh, okay. So I guess FI users can't be like, I don't know. I mean, since they use interesting calculus, I guess like be immoral, right? Like from society's perspective or something, since they're like self-focused, not necessarily selfish, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the dog question, most people would say it would be an immoral choice to choose to save your own dog. But,
Yeah.
but I think that in practice, FI DOMs aren't considered immoral by other people because FI DOMs are likely to actually be somewhat caring or to be one of the types that stands up and says, hey, that's not okay whenever everybody else is standing around and saying, not doing anything, I think your deliberation types are likely to be the ones who have a good conscientious objection when everybody else is going along with something that they shouldn't be going along with.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So.
But I guess one's judgments can be kind of corrupted, I guess, since it's subjective. I don't know.
Well, yeah, your judgments can be corrupted, is true. But the thing is, 8-slot TI means you're not oblivious to the logical considerations of the matter either. And additionally, you probably have a fairly limited scope of ambition. In other words, I don't think you're trying to impose your perspective on people very much.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really matter if your perspective is that particular or not. Like, if you think about it, the most logical way for a human being to be configured is like an ISFP. You first of all, you know what it is you want.
Mm-hmm.
Then you do it. I guess in an ideal world, you would have TE second, but that's not possible. So you know what you want, you do it. You check to make sure it's the singular right path, and then last, you hope other people will help you figure out how to do it.
Ah, yeah. That's so true. Yeah, like I always ask my mom, like, I don't know how to apply for universities or something, and like I don't know, I'm really not good with like those stuff, and I don't know. Yeah, I just like think about what I want, but it's difficult for me to like actually do it practically, I suppose.
Right, yeah, the practicalities, the ordinality of it. Which steps do I do first is always going to be something that you're hoping somebody else will provide, or when you do it yourself, it'll be, I guess, sort of satisfying, but something you always put off to the last minute.
Okay, so this is not about me, but like I don't know, how does TE polar work? Like I don't know, I feel like my mom's either like ISFJ or ISTJ, and like, but her TE seems pretty good, but like her FE also seems pretty good, and like I don't know, but yeah, like FE polar, TE polar, so like.
TE polar, things like I can't figure out how to log into my Mia account, and then talking to somebody else about it. Right? Well, it's your Mia account. What do you mean? You have to figure it out. You can't figure out how to log into your Mia account. Reset your password, do whatever. But TE polar will just be like, yeah, I can't do it. It'll come to any sort of new mechanism they haven't encountered before, and they just sort of go, "Can you help me? I don't know." That's FE tool. It always looks to other people when it comes across something that requires that kind of solvency. Rather than but it doesn't come. It doesn't do that when it's looking for deliberation. In other words, FE tool also likes to deliberate for itself. It says, "Well, I'll decide what's logical, and I care when things are fair a lot when the fairness applies to me, and I don't care really whether things are fair at all when the fairness applies to you." That's TI third.
Okay. So I guess I'm leaning towards like ISTJ for my mom then. I think she's pretty good with like those stuff. So.
Yeah, ISTJ women can actually be depending on what circumstances they're in. If like they're in a good loving relationship, they can be kind of aglow. In fact, which can give them a certain appealing quality to them. I saw it up in Washington State with Hambone's mom. She was an ISTJ, and she was just aglow with being in the right place and in the right, doing everything she wanted to do with her life. Looked like,
Okay. I guess I don't have any questions then.
Okay, and this is the last thing that tells me to generally confirm that you're an ISFP is typically only with ISFPs, although occasionally maybe with some other type. But I feel like they've heard all the words they want to hear at about 40 minutes. And they need to step back and process because it's a lot of words, I get that vibe in general from you too. So my last question then is, are you okay with us publishing this, or do you want me to share it with you first? Or
I'm actually okay in publishing this. Yeah.
All right, cool. I will do so. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, have a good one. Bye.
You. Bye.